Hi, I'm Alexandra Etter from Design and Business Intersection, and I'm collaborating with LCI Barcelona School of Design and Visual Arts in Catalonia, Spain, for this open educational resource. Welcome to Storytelling for Understanding the User, methodology tools to understand needs through user-centered design approach. Storytelling is the interactive art of using words and actions to reveal the elements and images of a story while encouraging the listener's imagination. For this chapter, the focus relies on storytelling application for story presentation and narrative development and how it captivates audiences. To discover new business opportunities and bring new solutions, designers use storytelling to get insights into users, build empathy, and reach them emotionally. By crafting stories, designers can better understand what users want from a solution. Storytelling is a helpful resource that can be used in many phases across the user-centered design process. This OER is an invitation to apply the benefits of storytelling through the user-centered design process and its phases to get insights, identify user needs, generate ideas, and implement solutions that are valuable to users. The main goal is for students and professionals from the advantaged textile sector to get familiar, feel confident, and communicating findings and innovation offers with stories. You will work with storytelling, innovative, and creative methodology tools. These tools can be implemented along the USD cycle, which will allow you to envision scenarios while taking into account and involving end users at specific times during the design process. The structure for this OER includes storytelling and user-centered design approach, persona map, user customer journey map, storyboard solution canvas, and storytelling canvas. Through this OER, you will get more comprehension on how storytelling can be applied for empathy and understanding of people's needs, and you will experience an application of learning by doing dynamics to create stories and bring innovative solutions through a user-centered design process. As follows, here is a key terminology that you will find through this OER: ethnography, experience, insight, persona canvas, solution storyboard canvas, storytelling, usability, user-centered design process, user journey map, among others. Let's start with the benefits of storytelling in user-centered design. Storytelling is a powerful resource in user-centered design, and there are several methodology tools that can be implemented along the process for a wide range of purposes. It can be used to describe a context or situation, like stories that are part of a specific individual, a persona. Storytelling can illustrate problems and points of pain, explaining why a new solution is needed. In addition, it can be a starting point for a design discussion, exploring a new design concept, or describing a new design. When applying storytelling in user-centered design, it plays a more active and complex role than just a transfer of information, because it not only describes actions but also explains them and sets them into a context that helps to understand why those actions happen. Some of the most important roles that storytelling plays in the user-centered design process are the following. It explains, engages the imagination, sparks new ideas, creates shared understanding, and can persuade. As storytelling can be implemented at many points through the user-centered design for different purposes, let's define what is and how the user-centered design process works. The user-centered design process involves 4 general phases. 1. Understand the context of use. 2. Specify requirements. 3. Create design solutions. And 4. Evaluate design. The whole procedures and the phases are repeated to further finish the product until the evaluation results are satisfactory. There are several ways and methodology on how to involve and understand the users along the design process. And here is where storytelling methodology tools play a key role for that purpose. Through the next 4 chapters, you will learn step by step how to put storytelling to work in user experience design in detail through visual creative tools. Let me introduce you to what a persona map is. The persona map, often referred as a user persona, customer persona, or buyer persona, is a fictional character created to represent a user or customer type. The persona puts a potential new solution into the context of their respective needs and the jobs to be done. Here are the tips to prepare with the visual tool. The expected duration is in between 30 to 45 minutes of a group discussion for a more creation of a customer profile. If we want to create a more extensive profile by adding images or sharing interviews and videos, more time must be planned. The time will vary depending on the design challenge. The post-activity information absorption will depend on dedication time. In addition, it can be updated along the design process. Related to organization, this activity is ideally conducted within a multidisciplinary team that should be able to meet the persona like a real person. The design team can work in groups of 2 up to 6 members in order to actively take part in the discussion and contribute observations and insights. If there are many user profiles, it can also be decided on work on individually by each team member and then completed through a group discussion. In terms of preparation, the material required are a persona map template or a structure drawn in a whiteboard or flip chart, sticky notes, post-its, pens, markers, and even photos. For further information, please refer to this document as needed. Here is the creative visual tool, the persona map template. Let's start with the step-by-step method to work with this template. Let's start mapping. Step 1. Persona description. Describe the persona. Start by giving the persona name, gender, and age. Add additional demographic information such as social media, family, hobbies, and general interests. Step 2. Persona visualization. Visualize the user character with a drawing, sketch, or a photo. Represent it visually in order to know how it looks. Step 3. User tasks, jobs to be done. Identify the user task and jobs the user does and think where can he or she be helped. Step 4. Use cases in the context of the design challenge and problem statement. Where, what, how. Where does the user make use of our innovation offering? What happens before and after? How does he do it and interact? Step 5. Problems, pains. Empathize with a persona character. Put it in his/her shoes and recognize what are the biggest difficulties and problems the user has. They can be unsolved problems or difficulty the user has with existing products and offers. Step 6. Gains. Now determine the gains that are the possibilities and benefits the user might deserve to obtain in order to overcome the previous pain and problem. Step 7. Influencers. Identify who are the key persons who have the influence or the user persona, like family members, friends, stakeholders, work colleagues, or even public personalities. They can all impact users' behavior. Step 8. Trends. Define current mega trends, market trends, environmental technology, or social trends that can impact and influence the persona. Next, I'm going to share the creative visual tool, the User Customer Journey Map. The Journey Map will help you to specify user requirements or user goals that must be met for the product to be successful. A user or customer journey map provides a representation vivid visualization, and a structured storytelling of how the user experience interacting with a product or service through a specific journey. The touch points where users interact with the product or service are often used to construct a journey and engaging story based upon their experiences. The resulting map is a visual depiction of what users' needs and what steps they take to fulfill those needs as they interact with a product. Its main purpose is to create a visual that displays what user customers are trying to do, what steps they want to take to do it, and what emotions or thoughts they experience as they carry out these steps. Here are the tips to prepare with this visual tool. The expected duration is in between 1 to 2 hours of a group mapping and discussion to create the first draft. The time may vary depending on complexity. In terms of organization, create mixed teams of 2 up to 6 people with different backgrounds to map out and create the journey storytelling. Each participant can take 2 or 3 issues to work on. Feel confident to personalize and include hand-drawn icons, sketches, or pictures along with the personal quotes and commentary. Related to preparation, the material required are sticky notes, post-its, photograph pictures, pens, and colored markers, large wall or whiteboard where to hang up and display all the pictures, persona map, and journey map template. Please find here an example of the user journey map template. Let's continue with the step-by-step method for mapping the customer experience. Before starting, here are some tips and considerations to be taken into account. Think creatively like an investigative journalist would ignite by asking questions to deepen the emotional user journey substantially. Take into consideration the context where the experience takes part. Create actions and goals, user expectations and failures as they are journeys themselves that can be used to design a future experience or solution. Step 1. Persona and user profile. Identify a persona for whom the journey will be created. Share the story of the persona with the design team. Use key information displayed at the persona map to create a compelling storytelling. Let's move to step number 2. Step 2. Experience scenario. Describe the scenario where the experience takes place or the job to be done. What does the persona do and what is the context? It can be an end-to-end experience or a specific part of it. Step 3. Timeline and stages. Define at least 5 moments in the journey. That includes what happens before, during, and after the actual experience to be sure that the most important steps are included. Take into consideration the following questions. What is the time span? What is the step-by-step experience? How much time has passed in the journey? Let's move to step 4, touch points. Identify the physical touch points where users interact with the product or service. This can be from personal face-to-face contact between individuals to virtual interactions with a website or physical application of the product. Step 5. Interactions, storytelling. Describe which actions and stories take place on each stage and which interactions should be assigned where and how. Including a story, what the user thinks while the persona is interacting. Step 6. User emotion and satisfaction. What is the user mood at every interaction? Are they happy, frustrated, angry? Capture the emotional status with glue dots or emotion. Step 7. Opportunities. Identify potential areas of improvement by analyzing each stage stories. Step 8. Area of responsibility, process owner. Define the people responsible for the action, process within the organization. As a result of previous steps, A user journey mapping activity should provide a high-level overview of all activities and factors that influence the user experience. It is a storytelling of the user experience that will help to identify any business requirements or user goals that must be met for the product to be successful. Let's learn about the next creative visual tool, the Solution Storyboard Canvas. A storyboard is a series of drawings or pictures that visualize a particular sequence of events that helps to visualize and low prototype an innovation offer or new concept from start to finish. Storyboards do exactly what the title implies. They allow stories about user experience to be brought into the design process. Here are the tips to prepare with this visual tool. The expected duration is in between 1 to 2 hours of a group discussion and story creation. The time may vary depending on story detail and complexity. Post-activity might be needed for further story presentation depending on team decision. In terms of organization, teams of 2 up to 6 people with different backgrounds to create the story with visuals and corresponding narratives will be necessary. Create several versions, including hand-drawn icons, sketches, or pictures and photographs. Related to preparation, the material required are the Solution Storyboard Canvas template, sticky notes, photographs, pictures, pens, and color markers, large wall to hang up and display the canvas. Here is the template for Solution Storyboard. Let's start with the step-by-step method. Think like a filmmaker and what you want to envision through each sequence. The storyboard is the trusted first stage prototype in all of these fields. Storyboarding can be completed into 6 steps. Step number 1, the solution. Start with a good understanding of the solution to be illustrated. Step number 2, story characters. Choose one representative user for your storyboard. Step 3, experiences interactions. Describe the experiences that a typical user will have while interacting with the proposed solution. What is the first interaction the user will have with the product? Illustrate the first interaction in the first frame. Draw and illustrate the situation inside each frame and describe the situation with text. Each scene or frame explain a key part of the user story and words and action conveyed through the drawings. Step number 4, journeys mapping. Map out user journeys through imagined situations. Indicate on through each sequence where the user will encounter the solution. Step 5, solution scenarios. Illustrate scenarios with frame-by-frame scenes, an essential number of words to convey the story. Continue creating sense for each major steps and user emotion. Make sure you have a clear beginning, middle, and end to your storyboard. Step 6, story sharing. Share and review the story with the real users and stakeholders for feedback. Use this feedback to further refine the concept. Let's go through the final creative visual tool, the Storytelling Canvas. Storytelling Canvas is a tool created to make it easier to construct a story that people care to listen to. Standard PowerPoint presentations most of the time lack the emotional depth and do not make the deserved effect and impact to communicate a story. The purpose of this canvas is to help build stories step by step that resonate. Here are the tips to prepare with this visual tool. The expected duration is in between 45 to 60 minutes of a group discussion and story creation. The time may vary depending on story detail and complexity. Post-activity might be needed for team discussion to analyze user feedback. In terms of organization, teams of 3 to 5 people per group We'll create the draft individually and then we'll bring it to the group to create a shared version through group discussion. Related to preparation, the material required are the storytelling canvas template, sticky notes, photographs, pictures, pens, and color markers, large wall to hang on and display the canvas. Here is the storytelling canvas template. Let's start with step-by-step method. A good story is not a straight line. It has ups and downs. Creating a story is an opportunity to create an emotional roller coaster. Define where the story climax moment is. That is the moment to use to make a main point. Stories have three main parts. The beginning is where the scene will be set. The middle is where the story will have its main plot, and the end is where the audience will be left by a new state of mind. Let's create a story with the template. Step 1. The subject. What is the title and subject of the story? Step 2. The goal. What is the goal you want to achieve? Why are you telling the story? Step 3. The audience. Who is your audience? Map them as a persona. Step 4. Before. What do your audience members feel, think, know, want, etc. about the subject in your story before they hear it? Step 5 is the during, and it's split into three main tasks. Task 1. Set the scene. Create a context based on an emotion, ethics, or facts that helps the audience get in the mood of things. Task 2. Make your point. What is the main message you want to come across, which will help support a change of heart with the audience? Task 3. The conclusion. What are the arguments, facts, and anecdotes in your story? Where are you going to place them? Step 6. After. Do audience members feel, think, know, want, etc. after they hear the story? Conclusions. Creating stories can be practiced along the design process, and having a specific template helps to implement it easier and on a more practical level. If you need any further explanation, please refer to the written document relating to this chapter. Thank you for being here and enjoy the storytelling journey.